Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a system claiming the power to change your life dramatically. Not over months or years, but like in just 7 days. Intrigued.
Definitely.
Today, we're plunging into material drawn from Change Your Life in 7 Days by Paul McKenna. And right from the start, the core idea presented is pretty compelling.
Yeah.
It's that the most profound changes we experience usually don't happen out there in the world, but in how we perceive the world.
Right. The internal shift.
And according to these sources, that shift in perception, it can happen like that, instantly.
And what's truly fascinating here is how the author, well, cuts straight to the heart of it, really, identifying perception as the key driver for rapid change.
Uh-huh.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it suggests the real levers of power are internal, within our own minds.
Totally, like that Roger Bannister example.
Yeah.
Breaking the 4-minute mile back in '54.
A classic. For ages, people thought it was physically impossible, maybe even dangerous.
Right. But the moment Bannister proved it could be done, poof, that perceived barrier just dissolved.
And then what happened? Within a year, 37 other people broke it.
37.
Yeah.
And the year after that, 300 runners. It's incredible. The belief changed, and the impossible just wasn't impossible anymore.
That's the mind-blowing part, isn't it? Scientists had real physiological concerns, but once that mental block was gone,
The human body just said, okay, we can do this.
yeah, it shows how the mind generalizes. Like, a kid figures out one door handle and then assumes all door handles work kind of the same way. We generalize possibility, too.
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So the mission for this deep dive is to really unpack the system described in the sources.
Right.
To understand these key ideas and techniques that promise to give you greater control over yourself and, well, by extension, your life.
It's presented almost like installing new software.
Yeah, like positive software for your mind installed quickly. That's the idea.
All right, so where does this journey begin? Day 1 is titled, Who Are You, Really? And this section immediately dives into a really foundational idea. Our behavior is primarily a direct result of our self-image.
Okay.
It's the internal map we carry, and it dictates how we navigate the world, often creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. And the source gives a truly striking, almost uncomfortable example from the Korean Civil War
Yeah, I remember reading that.
about how Chinese Koreans managed to convert American POWs to communism. And crucially, not through physical torture.
Oh, that's the key. It was by subtly altering their self-image.
Exactly. And that's the deep insight there. They understood that behavior follows belief about the self.
So how did they do it?
Well, they treat a soldier differently. Maybe slightly better food, maybe access to books, opportunities to lead small groups.
Implying they saw potential in him.
Right. Implying they saw this soldier as someone intelligent, open-minded, a potential leader. And the soldier, maybe without even realizing it consciously,
Starts acting the part.
starts acting in ways consistent with this new perceived identity. His behavior then reinforces the new self-image, creating this powerful, almost inescapable loop until he genuinely believed he was aligned with this new ideology.
Wow, so it wasn't really external pressure?
Not primarily. It was a manipulation of his internal sense of self. Deep stuff.
And the sources emphasize how much of this self-image operates below conscious awareness. It's like this invisible map. And if it's inaccurate or negative, it can lead to unconscious sabotage.
Yeah, like someone who's, objectively attractive but sees themselves as ugly, and they subtly undermine relationships because of it.
Or the classic lottery winner example.
Oh, yeah. They win big, but then quickly lose it all because their internal, wealth thermostat or self-image around money hasn't caught up. It doesn't match the external reality.
That's what the source calls the bling-bling factor, right?
Exactly. Outer success, the money, the fame, the status, it very rarely fills that inner void of inadequacy. The sources suggest many outwardly successful people are actually compensating for deep-seated low self-worth. They're constantly battling imposter syndrome, terrified they'll be found out.
And it's not just celebrities.
No, absolutely not. The author argues most people are hiding aspects of themselves they dislike or believe are flawed in some way.
He even shares his own story, doesn't he? About being a nerdy kid.
Yeah, he's quite open about it. Using external success, becoming a successful hypnotist and performer as a kind of protective shield, a veneer to cover his feelings of inadequacy.
So he got the fame, the money.
The glamorous life, all of it. And yet he says the emptiness remained because the internal self-image hadn't shifted.
Which really underscores the central point. The change has to come from the inside, from that fundamental level of self-perception.
Exactly. And the source details how this self-image often gets formed through early, sometimes accidental, programming.
Like from family.
Yeah, negative suggestions from family. The statistics cited is pretty stark. The average American parent criticizes like 8 times more than they praise.
Wow, 8 times.
And then there's the schooling system, which can sometimes inadvertently degeniuses kids, the awkwardness of puberty.
And even other people putting you down.
Right. People with low self-esteem sometimes unconsciously or consciously put others down to feel better about themselves. We pick up all this stuff.
So we build up these layers over time. The source introduces this really powerful model of the 3 selves.
Okay, what are they?
The pretend self, that's the face we show the world. The feared self, who we're terrified we might actually be at our worst. And the authentic self, who you are at your core, beyond all that.
Right. And there's that analogy.
The diamond analogy, it's blunt but memorable. Our true self is like a diamond, which gets covered in, well, the source calls it horseshit, the negative programming and experiences.
Yeah.
And then we apply nail varnish on top the pretend self, the external achievements, to look good.
But the real work is digging through the horseshit to
Yeah.
get back to the diamond underneath.
Exactly. Uncovering the authentic self.
And the feared self has particular power, doesn't it? The source notes if something really upsets you, like triggers a strong negative reaction,
Yeah.
it's often because you fear, deep down, that it might actually be true about you.
Oof. That's confronting.
It is. Confronting that fear is a critical step. Kind of aligns with Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living.
And the authentic self, by contrast, is supposed to feel like coming home.
Yeah, that sense of rightness.
The source offers some good questions to connect with it. Who are you when nobody's watching? If you felt totally safe, what would you do differently? Who would you be if you lived beyond fear?
Getting in touch with that authentic core is really the launch pad for reprogramming. And here's where the source makes a crucial point that challenges a lot of common self-help advice.
Which is?
That traditional positive thinking often fails because it lacks feeling. The sources emphasize that the most powerful programs driving our behavior are habit and imagination.
Habit and imagination. More powerful than logic or willpower.
Far more influential, according to this. Logic and willpower have their place, but they're often overridden by ingrained habits and vivid imagination.
Is that where the heartbeat in dark alley example comes in?
Exactly. You can't logically tell your heart rate to speed up, right?
No, of course not.
But if you vividly imagine walking down a dark alley and hearing footsteps behind you,
Yeah.
boom, your heart rate will quicken.
Because the imagination creates the feeling.
The imagination creates the feeling,
Yeah.
and the feeling drives the physiological and behavioral response. It's powerful.
So the technique for reprogramming your self-image uses this.
Right. The core technique presented involves a powerful imagination exercise. First, you imagine your magnificent, authentic self standing right there in front of you.
What do you notice?
You notice their posture, their breathing, how they carry themselves, how they handle challenges with ease and grace. You make it vivid.
Okay.
Then you physically step into that image. You synthesize with it. You see through their eyes, hear through their ears, feel what it's like to be that authentic version of you.
You embody it.
Exactly. And a final, vital step is daily daydreaming. Vividly imagining living your life from that place of authenticity in different real-world situations.
So you're training your brain through felt experience, not just thinking about it.
Precisely. If imagination and feeling are the drivers, you have to use them intentionally.
That makes a lot of sense. And it leads us perfectly into day 2, a user's manual for your brain.
Okay.
This section opens with that ancient story, the one about the 2 monks and the courtesan.
Ah, yes. They reach a flooded stream.
Right, and the older monk just picks up this beautiful courtesan and carries her across. The younger monk crosses quickly, horrified.
And then miles down the road, the younger one is still fuming.
Yeah, he finally explodes, criticizing the older monk for touching the woman.
And the older monk just says,
Brother, I set her down miles ago. You're still carrying her.
boom. It's such a brilliant illustration of how 2 people can experience the exact same external event
Crossing a stream, one carrying a woman.
and have completely different internal experiences and reactions based on their internal states.
So that's the key for day 2, state.
Exactly. The fundamental principle unpacked here is that all human behavior and how we feel is ultimately the result of our state, our emotional state, basically.
And that state is governed by 2 main things.
2 key factors. Our physiology, so Our posture, breathing, muscle tension, and our internal representations.
Internal representations, the pictures and sounds in our minds.
That's it. The source even suggests a simple experiment. Try slumping your shoulders, looking down, breathing shallowly. Notice how you feel.
Okay, yeah, not great.
Now, straighten up, pull your shoulders back, look slightly up, breathe deeply.
Ah, instant difference.
Right. The physical change instantly shifts your emotional state. Your body is like a powerful dial for your state.
And the internal representations.
You're like the movies playing in your head. But crucially, they are your unique subjective map of the world. They're not reality itself.
The map is not the territory.
Exactly that. Count Alfred Korzybski's idea, or Annie's Nin. We don't see things as they are, but rather as we are. Our internal movies are filtered through our beliefs, our past experiences, everything.
Which brings us to the movies of your mind concept.
Yeah. The vividness, the size, the color, the sound, all the qualities of those mental images and the accompanying self-talk directly create our feelings.
The rock star example is great for this. The one with the fear of flying.
Oh yeah, compared to the author who enjoys flying. The rock star plays this full-blown mental horror movie before every flight. Screams, plane crashing, his daughter crying, "Where's Daddy?"
Of course he's terrified.
Absolutely. Well, the author, looking forward to the trip, pictures the destination, hears an excited inner voice saying, "This is going to be good." Visualizes himself relaxing on the plane.
Same external event, totally different states because of the internal movie.
Precisely. And the core takeaway here is so powerful. By consciously changing the movie, you can change the feeling. The source even provides a practical guide, like a chart.
Oh, right. How to tweak the images and sounds.
Yeah, like making unpleasant images smaller, further away, black and white.
Yeah.
And making positive ones larger, closer, brighter, louder. You basically learn to be the director of your own mental movies.
And does this apply to that critical inner voice too? The one that's always finding fault?
It does. The source acknowledges its potential positive intention. Maybe it's trying to warn you, stop you making mistakes.
But it often just beats you down.
Exactly. If it's constant, harsh criticism, it destroys your confidence. Like yelling at a kid who's learning to ride a bike, totally counterproductive.
So how do you change that?
The source offers surprisingly simple, almost playful ways to, defang that critic.
Like what?
Like moving its location in your mind. Imagine it's coming from your thumb instead of inside your head. Or changing its tone. Imagine it speaking like Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck.
Seriously?
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. It sounds silly, but it immediately lessens its emotional power because it's no longer perceived as this threatening, authoritative voice. The key is shifting its tone from destructive criticism to maybe constructive, encouraging feedback.
Okay, that's clever. The section also gets into state management techniques, right? Like boosting confidence.
Yes. Boosting self-confidence involves actively recalling a time you felt totally confident, like really confident.
Okay.
You step back into that memory fully. You intensify all the sensory details, make the colors brighter, the sounds clearer, really feel the physical sensations of confidence in your body.
Find where the feeling is strongest.
Yeah, notice where it's strongest, maybe give it a color, and then imagine spreading that color, that feeling, throughout your entire body. Repeating this actively trains your brain to access that state more easily.
And building on that is anchoring, creating a confidence switch.
Exactly. It uses the idea of classical conditioning, like Pavlov's dogs associating the bell with food. Here, you associate a specific, unique physical action.
Like squeezing your thumb and finger together.
Right, something simple and unique. You associate that gesture with the powerful, fully intensified feeling of confidence you just generated. You create the anchor at the peak of the feeling.
The author used this before big performances, didn't he?
Yeah, he mentions using his anchor right before walking onto a stage for a massive theater show to instantly access a state of calm confidence.
So you relive the confident moment, intensify it, set the anchor at the peak.
Then you break state, test the anchor by firing it, and practice firing it while visualizing a future situation where you want that confidence, imagining it going perfectly.
Got it. The segment also mentions emotions as messengers.
Yeah, the idea that ignoring them doesn't work. It's like someone knocking gently on your door, then louder, then banging if you don't answer. Emotions have a message.
And there's a way to tell if it's just a passing feeling or something important.
Right. The simple test is change your mental picture. If the emotion is just a reaction to your internal movie, it'll likely vanish or change when you change the movie. If it's tied to a real external situation or need, it'll probably come back. That suggests it's an important emotion needing attention.
And for those persistent negative feelings, there's the negativity fast exercise.
Yes. It's a process. You identify the bad feeling, notice the specific image, sound, or words linked to it. Then you briefly listen for its potential positive message or intention. What's it trying to do for you, even if clumsily?
Like protect you.
Maybe protect you, warn you, motivate you. Then you brainstorm potential solutions if it is an important emotion. And then you actively disengage from the negative internal representation.
Drain the color, shrink it.
Drain the color, shrink it, move it far away in your mind. And finally, consciously replace it by vividly imagining life as you ideally want it to be, shifting your focus, shifting your state.
Okay, which seems like a good lead into day 3, the power of a positive perspective.
Absolutely. This section really dives into the idea that reality is, well, flexible. It introduces the art of reframing.
Which is basically changing how you see something.
Exactly. Changing the context or the meaning of an event or situation by consciously changing how you perceive it. Changing the frame around the picture, so to speak.
And once you understand it, you realize reframing is happening everywhere, all the time.
Totally. Advertising reframes products to make them desirable. PR reframes events. Politicians reframe issues constantly. The news media reframes what's important just by deciding which stories get the spotlight.
It's all about the frame.
Because, as the source points out, everything is relative. Our interpretation fundamentally depends on what we include or exclude from the frame of our perception.
The funny college student letter is a perfect example.
Oh, yeah. She totally reframes her failing grade in biology by comparing it to this string of made-up disasters, a dorm fire, concussion, pregnancy, elopement. Suddenly, the F seems like nothing.
It changes the context completely. Or the friend worried about turning 40.
Right. Worried about being 40 and single, then his much younger girlfriend has a health scare, turns out minor,
Yeah.
but suddenly,
Turning 40 unmarried seems trivial compared to the fear of losing her.
the frame of reference shifted, and the meaning and emotion changed instantly.
So the big advantage of learning to reframe consciously is more choices.
More choices, more mental flexibility. And the source argues more flexibility leads directly to a greater ability to influence the results you get in your life.
And a key insight here is huge. There's no such thing as failure.
Right. It's presented purely as an attitude, not an actual outcome.
Thomas Edison again.
The classic. After hundreds, maybe thousands of attempts at the light bulb, a reporter asks how it felt to fail so many times.
And his response?
He said he hadn't failed at all. He'd simply found, 700 or whatever ways it didn't work. He reframed failure as just feedback, information gathering.
And Thomas Watson from IBM supposedly said, double your rate of failure if you want to succeed faster.
Exactly. It's about seeing setbacks not as dead ends, but as learning opportunities. Essential feedback.
The source also talks about the power of questions. This is fascinating.
Yeah, the idea that the questions you habitually ask yourself literally direct your focus. And where your focus goes, your energy and emotions follow.
So unhelpful questions keep you stuck.
Totally. Questions like, why does this always happen to me? Or what's wrong with me? They just lock you into victimhood and negative feelings. Your brain searches for answers that confirm the premise.
Whereas empowering questions.
Questions like, how can I solve this elegantly and quickly? Or what can I learn from this? Or how can I enjoy the process? Immediately orient your brain towards solutions, learning, and positive action.
Your brain is like a search engine.
Exactly. It will find answers to whatever questions you program it with. So you want to program it with useful questions.
The author suggests making a daily practice of asking empowering questions.
Yeah, maybe first thing in the morning to consciously set your focus and state for the day.
And this reframing applies to relationships too.
Definitely. Gaining perspective means actively trying to see the world through the other person's eyes. The old saying, walk a mile in their moccasins.
The source mentions Gandhi doing this.
Right. Crediting his legendary negotiation skills partly to his practice of mentally inhabiting the perspective of his opponents, imagining sitting in their chairs, understanding their concerns before the negotiation even started.
Wow. And there's an exercise for us to practice this.
Yes, a simple visualization exercise to practice gaining perspective in your own relationships, stepping into the other person's shoes mentally.
But maybe the most powerful frame of all is our beliefs.
That's how it's presented. Beliefs are the ultimate filters, shaping all our other perspectives, profoundly influencing success, happiness, relationships, even our physical health.
The story of the guy under hypnosis who believed he was a corpse, that's intense.
It is. And he started to bleed when just pricked with a needle because the belief was so strong it affected his physiology. A chilling demonstration of belief impacting physical reality.
And the simpler example, The neighbor looking for keys.
Huh, yeah. Looking under the streetlight, not because he lost them there, but because there was more light out here. It shows how our beliefs can limit where we even look for solutions. If you believe success is only found in one place, you won't look anywhere else.
So true. The source lists 7 specific empowering beliefs.
Yeah, presented as cornerstones for a better life. Things like, the answers are within you. You are not broken. You don't need fixing. You have all the resources you need inside.
You can accomplish anything if you break it down.
Right. There is no failure, only feedback. You are creating your future and now you. And you are more than your past. Really powerful frames.
And there's a new belief generator exercise to help install these.
Yes, it involves imagining a future you, who already completely holds the desired belief. You notice how they look, stand, feel.
And then you step into that future self.
Exactly. You step into and inhabit that perspective. By mentally acting as if the new belief is already true, you start training your brain and nervous system to accept it as reality. You embody the belief to make it real.
Okay, we're covering a lot of ground. Now, the source structure jumps a bit, putting day 5, healthy foundations, next. It starts with that image.
The hunter, trapped between 2 tigers.
Yeah, one below, one above, and he's clinging to a tree root. A vivid metaphor for being trapped by stress or fear.
And the source makes a really crucial distinction about stress here. It's not something that comes at you from the outside.
It's our response.
It's your body's response to a challenge, real or imagined, that fight or flight response, essential for survival historically, but...
In modern life, we trigger it all the time without the physical release.
Exactly. And that constant inappropriate arousal is called out as possibly the single biggest cause of ill health today. It's not the event, as Hansel said, but our interpretation that causes the reaction.
The source talks about 3 areas of stress study: exposure, response, and capacity.
Yes, and capacity, your ability to handle stress and then recover, is presented as the most significant factor for long-term wellness.
Like the marathon runner's analogy.
Right. They build capacity not just by running constantly, but through interval training, alternating intense stress with recovery. Without that recovery, stress becomes toxic.
Like karoshi in Japan, death from overwork.
Exactly. An extreme example of unrelenting stress without recovery. It highlights the critical need for balance.
So the source offers simple techniques to reduce stress and increase capacity, like power naps.
Yeah, power naps.
Yeah.
It mentions the body's natural ultradian rhythm, a roughly 90-minute cycle where we naturally need about 15 minutes to sort of reset and replenish.
And visualization helps here too.
Big time. Just vividly imagining yourself relaxing on a beach can signal your nervous system to shift into that relaxed state. Because again, the nervous system doesn't easily tell the difference between real and vividly imagined.
That mind-body link is everywhere in this. Edison and Dolly were nappers.
Famous nappers, they had their techniques. The power nap exercise in the source guides you through a progressive relaxation visualization to get you into that state.
Exercise is another big one.
Vital. Any physical movement, even a brisk walk, helps burn off stress chemicals, triggers the parasympathetic rest and digest response, and releases mood-boosting endorphins. Reduces depression, too, according to Consumer Reports on Health.
And just laughter and smiling.
Believe it or not, yes.
Yeah.
Simply smiling, even if you force it initially, releases serotonin, those happy chemicals.
The Norman Cousins story is amazing, using laughter to help heal himself.
Inspiring. And research shows laughter actually increases natural killer cells, NK cells, which boost your immune system.
And the inner smile, that's an ancient Taoist thing.
Yeah, practiced for thousands of years. Mentak Chia is quoted suggesting smiling into your organs releases beneficial secretions, whereas stress releases poisonous ones. It sounds a bit out there, but the inner smile exercise just involves directing that feeling of warmth and smiling inwards.
The power of belief in healing is also discussed. The placebo effect.
Strong evidence. Averaging around 30% effectiveness, sometimes much higher, like 54% compared to morphine for pain. It just shows the mind's incredible influence over physical processes.
And research using hypnosis or imagery to influence the immune system.
Yes, boosting protective blood cells through thought. The Yokohama poison ivy experiment is wild too.
Right. Believing it was poison ivy caused blisters from a harmless leaf, and believing it was harmless stopped blisters from actual poison ivy, all under hypnosis.
It's a dramatic demonstration of belief overriding physical stimuli. Mind over matter, in a very real sense.
Which leads to the immune system booster visualization, based on P&I research.
Psychoneuroimmunology, yeah. Research confirming the mind can influence the immune system. like that puppet video study.
Where kids watching policeman puppets fight virus puppets showed increased immune markers.
Exactly. Their immunoglobulin levels went up just from watching and visualizing.
And the case studies. The MS patient.
Powerful stuff. Reducing her immune recovery time after chemo from 2 weeks down to 5 days using visualization. Or the actress stopping a cold sore by vividly imagining it disappearing.
So it's applying those internal representation tools from day 2 directly to health.
Precisely. The exercise involves visualizing a healthy immune system and then actively enhancing its perceived power through simple visualization.
Okay, so we've got self-image, state control, perspective, health. Now, day 6, creating money.
Ah, the money chapter.
It kicks off with that story about the shipmaker and the hammer.
Right. Engine's broken, he listens, taps one spot with a hammer, engine works. Bill, 10,000 pounds.
Now the breakdown.
For tapping with a hammer, 1 pound. For knowing where to tap, 9,999.9. It highlights the value of knowledge, insight, skill over just brute effort.
And the source makes a bold claim right away. You are one of the wealthiest people who has ever lived.
Which sounds jarring, maybe, but it's about redefining wealth.
Beyond just cash.
Yeah. It's about the wealth of the world we have access to today. Parks, libraries, museums, education, healthcare, things only the absolute elite had centuries ago. Real wealth includes health, happiness, relationships, contribution.
But it also includes money.
Yes, it acknowledges that too. Then it briefly touches on the history of money barter, coins, paper, to make a key point.
That money's value is based on confidence.
Fundamentally, yes. Confidence or faith. Serge Kahili King is quoted saying, "People succeed when others, or they themselves, have extraordinary confidence, often regardless of the objective value." Perception, again.
This leads into poverty consciousness.
Right. The idea that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you deep down believe you can't be wealthy or that wealth is bad, you'll unconsciously act in ways that make that true.
Back to the lottery winners who end up broke.
Exactly. And it mentions historical roots. Feudalism, old religious ideas linking poverty and virtue, scarcity mindsets from the Depression or wars. If you believe money is bad, you'll unconsciously sabotage getting it.
But wealthy people often have simple habits and beliefs, like H.L. Hunt's formula.
Yeah, surprisingly simple.
Yeah.
1, decide what you want. 2, decide what you'll give up for it. 3, set priorities. 4, be about it. Clarity, commitment, focus, action.
And the idea of attracting wealth, it's not magic.
Not presented as magic. More like resonance.
The piano string analogy. Hit a C note here, the C string over there vibrates. The source suggests you attract circumstances that resonate with your predominant thoughts and internal state.
So you need to feel deserving, feel rich inside first, back to self-image and state.
Exactly. It all connects.
So how do you do that? The source gives really practical techniques for creating wealth consciousness.
Very tangible stuff. The author shares his own methods, getting a clean checkbook, making a fake bank statement with a huge balance, and looking at it daily, practicing writing big checks until it felt normal.
And the wealth scrapbook.
Yeah, cutting out pictures of things you desire, houses, cars, travel, experiences. But the crucial step is creating sensory-rich experiences around these desires.
Through imagination and real-world practice.
Both. Vividly imagining, having it, feeling it, and then things like test driving the car you want, the Mercedes example, or visiting an airport just to soak in the feeling of travel, the Friends example.
Making the feeling of wealth real now. Right, daily rehearsal. Like method acting for wealth.
The source is also clear that money is a reward for adding value.
Fundamentally, yes. It outlines 4 keys to making more money by adding value. Uniqueness, more specialized, more value. Scope, more people impacted, more potential. Impact, bigger difference made, higher demand. And perception.
Perception? Oh.
Always.
Yeah.
It's only perceived value that gets exchanged for currency. Like the record label raising prices when an artist becomes a superstar.
And the key question to ask.
What is something you can give the world that people will pay you for? Shifts focus from getting to giving value.
And measuring wealth is important. What gets measured gets done.
Right. 3 ways are given beyond just income. 1, net worth, assets minus liabilities.
Simple calculation.
2, number of days forward you could live without earning more, calculated by net worth divided by daily expenses. A real measure of financial freedom.
And the third one is interesting.
The amount of money you wouldn't worry about losing, because that can increase just by changing your mindset, your relationship with money, even if your income stays the same.
Fascinating. The 80-20 rule gets a mention too.
Briefly, yeah. Focus on the 20% effort or clients bringing 80% results. And connecting with your passion daily is key. The daily practice is reiterated. Walk wealthy, imagine richly, Ask empowering questions. Use the scrapbook.
Okay, so money creation is also internal first, which brings us to day 4, dream setting, and day 7, happily ever after. These seem to pull it all together.
They really do. Dream setting is about actively creating your desired future in your imagination first. Purposeful daydreaming, visualization.
Like the great innovators did, Tesla, Einstein, Disney.
Exactly. They were known for their creative reverie. The principle is significant external creation almost always starts as an internal vision.
And dream setting is linked to living your values.
Strongly. Suggesting true happiness comes from living aligned with your core values daily, not just when you hit a goal. Echoes Viktor Frankl meaning comes from living your values. Values are your compass for dreaming.
So the dream setting system involves identifying values, brainstorming big dreams.
Yeah, unreasonable dreams even.
Yeah.
Focusing only on what you do want, then mentally rehearsing success, like athletes do.
The Stu Middleman quote, "I never ran 1,000 miles. I ran 1 mile 1,000 times."
Right. Practice the small steps and the feeling of success repeatedly in your mind.
Measuring progress is also key. The Hawthorne effect.
Yeah, just observing something changes it. Seize on any evidence of progress, however small, to build momentum. Set goals on a timeline and activate your resources, skills, people, money, stuff to step out of your comfort zone.
And the daily mental rehearsal builds neural pathways.
That's the idea. Training your brain to recognize opportunities and feel comfortable with the steps needed, which leads perfectly to day 7, happily ever after.
Starting with the story of the businessman and the fisherman.
Yes. Businessman urges fisherman to work harder, build an empire, make millions, so he can eventually relax. Fisherman says, "But I am relaxing now."
Highlights different views on success and happiness, accumulation versus contentment.
And the source suggests 2 kinds of happiness. Feeling wonderful physically, pleasure, excitement, and a deeper state of harmony or flow. A balance is good.
It also tackles the idea that sometimes it's not okay to be happy.
Right. And the counter is powerful. Happiness is, first and foremost, a conscious choice. Abraham Lincoln. Most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be.
The story about the woman whose daughter died.
Yeah, illustrating that you can feel natural sadness but still choose to access happiness by focusing on cherished memories, on what the loved one would want for you. It's not about denying grief, but choosing focus and meaning.
Then it introduces flow, Csikszentmihalyi's concept.
Being totally absorbed, in the zone. 8 characteristics are outlined. Clear goals, immediate feedback, intense concentration, feeling it's possible to succeed, total involvement, like rock climbing.
Sense of control, loss of self-consciousness, time distortion.
Right. Einstein's relativity quote about time flying when you're having fun.
And the key condition for flow.
The meta-characteristic. A balance between the perceived challenge and your perceived ability to meet it, ideally at a high level. But crucially, we can adjust our perception of either the challenge or our skills to create that balance more often.
And how do we access flow more easily?
Back to state management. Remember past flow experiences vividly. Your nervous system responds as if it's happening now. Trigger that state regularly through memory and practice, hardwiring your brain for flow.
A final distinction is made, pleasure versus satisfaction.
Important one. Pleasure feels good in the moment. Satisfaction feels good afterwards, often from overcoming something worthwhile.
The lizard corn analogy. Too much easy pleasure can hinder growth.
That's the idea. A truly happier, more satisfying life involves taking on worthy challenges, finding joy in the effort and growth, liking what you do, not just doing what you like, as J.M. Barrie said.
And it all culminates in a daily success workout.
Yes, integrating the week's techniques. Breathing, visualizing authentic self, reviewing values, imagining goals, activating resources, creating positive states, wealth, love, confidence, energizing breaths.
Can be done quickly, but more time equals more impact, like Gandhi meditating longer when busy.
Exactly that quote. The idea is the cumulative effect of daily practice is profound. It changes your baseline state. You start the day already feeling how you want to feel, ready to create from the inside out.
So what does this all mean? Looking at this whole system from the source, the central message seems to be that taking conscious control of our inner world.
Our self-image, states, perception, beliefs, imagination.
That's presented as the real leverage point. The shortcut, maybe, to changing our outer world and getting what we want.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
the source suggests humanity might be on the verge of an age of psychotechnology.
Psychotechnology.
An era where understanding and consciously using our inner resources, our minds, becomes as impactful, maybe more so than external tech. And this raises a really important question. If we truly can learn to intentionally shape our internal reality using techniques like these, what are the actual limits on the external changes we can create? Not just for ourselves.
Maybe collectively?
Yeah, collectively. In the world around us, what becomes possible then?
The source does touch on rapid technological change, hints at maybe an evolutionary leap for humanity. What if these psychotechnologies aren't just for personal gain?
Right. What if they could be tools for collective dream setting or creating wealth in a much broader societal sense?
How could applying these internal principles on a larger scale shape the future? Our communities, our societies, the world?
Definitely something to think about. How far could that inner leverage really take us?